You are powerful, and by powerful I mean that as you reach maturity, you have the power to choose empowering beliefs and actions. Many of us find this a challenge. Understanding the relationship between your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions, and therefore your results, enables you to make empowering choices and to live your promise. There are 5 words that I use to describe these choices that we have to make, and they spell the word magic. M is for motivation, A is for attitude, G is for goals, I is for initiative, and C is for commitment. Now, I'd like to share 5 stories about my mentor, Vivo Segeza. My mentor, Vivo, said, "Larry, when I was a young man, I was a troublemaker. I lived in a village in Italy. There was a wise old man, a hermit, who lived in a cave on the side of the mountain. Rumor had it that he was nearly 100 years old and that for decades he had answered the most difficult questions from people all over Italy with insight and clarity. In my village, everyone knew about this man and his reputation. I told my friends, I'm going to prove the wise man on the mountain wrong. My friends scoffed and laughed at me, asking, how do you plan to do that? I said, well, I'm going to catch a bird, and I'm going to put it in my hand and cover it over with the other hand. Then I'm going to say to the wise old man, I've got a bird in my hand. Is it alive or dead? If he says it's alive, I'll squeeze it until it's dead. If he says it's dead, I'll open my hands and it'll fly away. In either case, he'll be wrong." Oh, they said, he's going to prove the wise man on the mountain wrong. We scurried about and caught a bird and went and stood outside the wise old man's cave. I called out, "Wise old man, come on out." My friends looked at each other in anxious anticipation. The wise old man came out of the cave. He was slender but muscular, with long white hair and a long white beard. He wore a robe like a monk, with a rope tied at the waist. He stood there, with peace and love in his heart, and asked, "Yes, my son, how may I help you?" This was my moment to prove to my friends how smart I was. "Wise old man," I said, with a smirk and a glance at my friends, "I've got a bird in my hand. Is it alive or dead?" "Son," he said calmly, "that bird's life is in your hands. The choice is yours." This was the most difficult and important lesson I have ever learned, Vivo said. Our lives are in our hands. Our gifts are ours, but we must choose to accept them, to develop them, and to use them in the service of others and in pursuit of our dreams. We are all innately motivated to be ourselves. Embrace your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your interests, your passions, and your dreams. Learn about your gifts and develop them. Be yourself. Become your possibilities. Be happy, fulfilled, and successful. The answer about who you are is within you. So, the first is M, which is motivation, the power of acceptance. Self-acceptance is the first hurdle we all must face. When you accept and embrace your gifts and commit to developing them, you are empowered. My mentor Vivo and I were out for an evening hike. Trees surrounded us along a forest path, and there were mountains in the distance. The sun was setting beyond the horizon. Vivo stopped and pointed at the sunset and said, "Larry, if your quest is to walk to the horizon, you can walk all day, every day, for the rest of your life, and never reach it. Every day you will fail. So it is if your quest is to be perfect. Every day you will fail. You will become discouraged." "Yes," I said, I've found that. "May I suggest a slightly different quest, Larry?" asked Vivo. "Yes, please do," I said. "Make it your quest to improve yourself every day. And by this, I do not mean to fix yourself. I mean to discover and become your authentic self." "Well, how do I do that?" I asked. "It begins with your beliefs, because your beliefs interpret the world for you. When you believe you must be perfect, you always fail. As we've discussed, it can make you feel inadequate, frustrate you, and make you want to quit trying to improve. We all hold a number of beliefs that interpret our life events and evoke feelings and actions in us. We're not even aware that we hold many of them, and we are unaware of the effect they have on us. Some of these beliefs empower us, but others undermine us and prevent us from becoming our authentic selves. We must uncover and challenge our beliefs and affirm them or discard them based on whether they serve us or not. A equals attitude, the power of belief. We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. We are what we believe. Your self-concept defines your possibilities. Your relationship values, how you relate with other people, define your character. Your personal values, what you think is important, defines your priorities. Your beliefs can empower you or undermine you. Choose wisely, and you will fulfill your quest to become you. One afternoon, my mentor Vivo and I were fishing at Sanford Pond. I caught a perch. Vivo smiled and showed me how to clean and fillet it. Earlier, Vivo had made a circle of rocks on the bank of the pond to create a fire pit, and he piled some dry grass in the center, then stacked some dry twigs outside the circle. He placed a cast iron skillet beside them. Fish is best cooked fresh, Vivo said. He reached into his backpack and took out a magnifying glass. Holding it above the fire pit, he adjusted it until the sun's rays were focused to a point on the dry grass. Soon, the grass burst into flame. Vivo started adding twigs into the flames until fire burned brightly. Larry, let this be a lesson to you, Vivo said. The sun's rays were here all day, but it was only when they were focused on a single point that they had the power to ignite the flame. So it is with you. You have tremendous energy, but it is only when you focus your energy that your true power will be revealed. The first step to getting what you want is to decide what you want. Decide on your goal and then focus your energy on pursuing it. G equals goals, the power of focus. Decide on your goal, develop an action plan to achieve it. Implementing this plan is the price to achieve your goal. Either commit to implementing this action plan to achieve your chosen goal or choose a different goal. My mentor Vivo and I visited his friend Ralph, who took us on his small sailing boat. I watched Ralph and Vivo adjust the sails to catch the wind, to gain speed, and to move the sails to change direction. The wind died, the wind changed direction. I was amazed at Vivo's skill in adjusting the sails with his friend Ralph so we could get where we wanted to go in changing winds. Sometimes they sailed in a zigzag pattern because straight on was impossible. One time, we had to duck as they swung the sail across the boat and pulled in the lines, and then I heard a loud whoosh as a slap of wind caught the sails, and I felt a surge as we picked up speed. Wow, I yelled to be heard above the wind. Larry, Vivo called back, sailing is like life. You have a destination plan, but the winds change. You must be patient, resilient, and skilled to still get where you want to go. When you adapt to changing circumstances, you are learning at the same time you are continuing to pursue your goal. I equals initiative, the power of action. Taking action is as much about learning as it is about achieving. Act and learn, don't debate and wait. One day at Sanford Pond, my mentor, Vivo, pointed out some tiny eggs in a leaf and said, "These are butterfly eggs." The following week, when we went back to the pond, Vivo showed me that the eggs had become caterpillars. They were eating the leaves where the eggs had been before. This is the second stage of becoming a butterfly, he said. A couple of weeks later, while we were walking near the pond again, Vivo stopped and pointed to a pupa or chrysalis hanging from the twig. He said, "This chrysalis was a caterpillar. It has matured and fed enough to begin metamorphosis, a process that will take about 2 weeks. During it, the caterpillar will become a butterfly." Sure enough, one morning about 2 weeks later, Vivo and I watched a butterfly struggle to break open a now translucent chrysalis. Vivo explained that the struggle was necessary to strengthen the butterfly's wings. And finally, the orange and black butterfly broke open the chrysalis and emerged. The butterfly continued to hang from the split chrysalis as the exterior of its wings dried. Fluids were pumped into its body and into its crinkled wings until they became full and stiff. We watched a long time, and finally, the wings began to quiver, and the butterfly flew off. Vivo said, "The butterfly teaches us 3 lessons. First, it teaches us that you must be prepared to persevere through all the stages required to become your possibility. Second, it shows that change and growth involves struggle, and struggle is essential because it makes you strong enough to fly. And third, we learn that the journey is about what you accomplish in pursuing your goal and in who you become through the perseverance to achieve it. C is commitment, the power of perseverance. Life involves struggle and setbacks. When you start to worry, doubt, or have fear, this is negative visualization. Change to positive visualization, which is seeing yourself achieving your goal. So, to summarize, magic is in your choices, and magic has a very specific meaning. M equals motivation, the power of acceptance. A equals attitude, the power of belief. G equals goals, the power of focus. I equals initiative, the power of action. C equals commitment, the power of perseverance. You have the power, which is both frightening and empowering. If you don't choose, who will choose? Embrace your power, make your choices, and live your magic. In the next talk, You Are Important, I will discuss your personal mission, the key to your fulfillment and happiness.